Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Haiga from MIPA 4, and here I will explain a little bit about one of TOEFL test sections, that is a written expression. So in this section of written expression, we have to choose the one underlined word or phrase that wouldn't be acceptable in standard written English. So I have prepared 5 questions here, and now we are going to the first question. James' counselor recommended that he should take a foreign language in his freshman year instead of waiting until the following year. So, the mistake of this sentence can be found in underlined words marked A. So the answer is A. He should be replaced with he take, because after recommend, that must be followed by verb in simple form. This sentence contains subjunctive. It is simple form of the verb when used after certain verbs indicating that one person wants another person to do something. In this sentence, we can see that James' counselor wants he or James to take a foreign language in his freshman year instead of waiting until the following year. So we have to use subjunctive sentence rule. The rule is subject plus verb in any tense plus that plus subject plus verb in simple form. The first subject is James' counselor. The first verb is recommended, plus that, plus second subject, he or James, plus verb in simple form, take. And the word that must always appear in subjunctive sentences. And now we are going to the second question. News of Charles Lindbergh's famous transatlantic flight in 1927 spread rapidly despite of the lack of an international communication system. So, the answer is C. Despite of should be replaced with despite or in spite of. Despite and in spite of are prepositions which indicate clauses of concession. It shows a contrast between two ideas. They have same meaning as though, even though, and although. The rule is, after in spite of or despite, it must be followed by a noun phrase. In this sentence, the noun phrase comes after despite. It is the lack of an international communication system. I have two other examples here. The first is, despite his physical handicap, he has become a successful businessman. The second, in spite of his physical handicap, he has become a successful businessman. From two examples before, we can conclude that in spite of and despite are interchangeable without changing the word order, and they can go at the beginning or in the middle of a sentence. Question number 3. I need both fine brown sugar as well as powdered sugar to bake a Hawaiian cake. The mistake of the sentence is in underlined word marked A. The word marked A should be omitted or be removed. It is redundant to say both with as well as. Both correlates with and, while as well as stands alone. Both and, as well as, and not only but also, are correlative conjunction. They have same meaning as in addition to. It is like entities must be used together. For instance, noun with noun, adjective with adjective, and etc. In other words, all verbs must be parallel. In this sentence, both fine brown sugar and powdered sugar are noun phrase, so the sentence is parallel. And then, I have other examples here. The first is, Robert is both talented and handsome. Both here refers to talented and handsome, where they too are adjectives. The second, Beth plays the guitar as well as the violin. The guitar and the violin here are nouns. The third, Paul excels not only in math but also in science. So it uses correlative conjunction, not only blah 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 but also. And the math and science are both nouns, so the sentence is parallel. And next, question number 4. In spite of the tenant's objections, the apartment manager decided to raise the rent by $40 per month. The error of the sentence can be found in the underlined word marked C. To rise should be to raise because there's a complement, the rent, after the verb. So, rise and raise, both words mean to move upward, but we don't use them in the same way. Why? Because rise is intransitive and raise is transitive. Rise is intransitive. It means that rise don't take a complement. To rise means to move upward or to increase. While raise is transitive. It means that raise take a complement. To raise means to lift or move something or someone upward. In other words, there is someone or something receiving the action. Raise also means to increase. So we can conclude that after verb raise, there's complement, while after verb rise, there's not. And now we are going to the last question, question number 5. The proposal has repealed after a 30-minute discussion and a number of objections to its failure to include our district. The error of the sentence is in the underlined word marked A. Has repealed should be replaced with was repealed or has been repealed. It is in the passive voice form because the proposal itself can do the action. It receives the action, so we should use the passive voice where the subject receives the action. And then we are interested in the proposal, not who has repealed the proposal, so we use the passive voice. So, that's all from me. I got the references from Cliff's TOEFL Preparation Guide and from Learning English VOA News blog. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.